Does WearOS work on iPhones? If you are thinking of buying a WearOS device and have an iPhone, or if you're an Android user and you're thinking of buying the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra, then today's video I'm going to be reviewing that watch, but from an Apple iPhone user perspective. Now, I'd like to say that I am not a watch person. I have had watches bought for me in the past as gifts. I've bought expensive watches for myself in the past, and I wear them for a very short novelty period and then never wear them again. They end up staying in a drawer somewhere in the top of my sock drawer. So when TicWatch approached me and said, look, we've got this new Pro 3 Ultra watch that we want to send you for a review, I said, yeah, go on then. And in my mind, I thought, well, if I don't like it, I'll just sell it and then buy an Apple Watch instead. So this review, apart from being sent this watch, I am not under any contract obligations to say it's good or bad or say anything. All the contract obligations I have is they send me the watch and I agree to make some video about it. Now, I'm not one for unboxing videos, so here's some very quick footage of me opening the box. You'll have this wrapped cling film around it, you open it up, the box is quite nice little sleeve over it. The actual box itself looks very similar to the Tesla Tequila box that I've got from Tesla. Nice little design. Inside the box, some instructions, some paperwork, and the watch itself. I held the watch down, buttons down for a couple of seconds, and that seemed to turn the watch on. You then have to set it up with the apps on the phone. Now, there is two apps. There is the Google WearOS app, and there is also an app directly from the manufacturer of this watch. I downloaded both to set the watch up, and it was pretty simple. I mean, it's idiot proof. Now, at the start of the video, I said the only reason I wanted to buy a smartwatch is so I could use Apple Pay. Well, you can't use Apple Pay on an Android device, but you can use Google Pay. And to set this up, it was really simple. I just basically put the payment system in and it transferred it to the WearOS app on the phone, where I set all my credit card details so I could pay. Now, obviously, I had to test this. So this is not an excuse to buy a round of beer at my local pub and use my watch, videotape it so I could claim it on my business expenses. This, Mr. HMRC, was a valid purchase of a round of alcohol so I could test out the payment system on the app. Now, as you can see, what I did to do pay was to tap the side button, scroll down and find pay. And I found that this was really long-winded to make payments on the go. So obviously not to claim another second round of drinks through HMRC. This had nothing to do with putting it through my business expenses twice. I actually realised that swiping down from the top of the screen and pressing pay and then tapping the device mean that I could pay much easier, much faster that way. And it wasn't an excuse to put two expense claims for 2 rounds of beers on my watch. Now, obviously, seriously, this was a genuine business transaction that I had to put through and had nothing to do with buying a round of beer for my own consumption. This was consumption for people helping me film the video, because clearly I wasn't using my hands and those people had to consume that alcohol because it would have been a waste to throw it down the sink. And this is the part of the video that I would send to my accountant and HMRC during a tax investigation. Obviously, a clear business calculation of purchase. Now, moving on, you may worry, what if someone takes this watch off your wrist like this and steals it, and they've now got your credit card details that they can now go and pay things? Well, they can't, because if this leaves your wrist, it no longer detects your heartbeat, it will ask for a PIN number. Now, you do have to set this. You can set a PIN number, you can set a combination, you can set a various other things that you can put in. But basically, I've set a PIN number, which means that once it leaves my wrist, a PIN number will need to be entered to make the watch work again. Really, really good idea. So if you are worried about security and Face ID, the watch does have you covered, that as long as it's got a PIN number on and it leaves your wrist, it is protected. Now, that neatly brings me on to the fact that it obviously has a heartbeat sensor, which most smartwatches do. Now, this is actually quite important to me. As you may be aware, I've recently had a baby, so I am now a father. I'm also a married man, and I've also just come out of lockdown, which means that I am currently a little bit heavy. I've got more COVID pounds than ever before, and I know this because when I watch my videos back, I actually go, wow, I got fat. So this will hopefully make me lose some of that COVID weight. There is also a whole host of other sensors on this that you can only find on top level premium, very expensive watches. And that is the fact that it's got a blood oxygen saturation sensor as well. Now, this is a really premium feature that, as I mentioned before, we've just come out of lockdown because of something called COVID. Now, I'm not a medical scientist. This is not meant as advice or guidance or anything like that, but COVID can mean that you have very, very low blood oxygen saturation levels and feel completely normal. And this is one of the big risks of COVID that I read into, and why I was thinking of buying just a cheap blood oxygen saturation to check my blood oxygen saturation daily. Well, I don't have to worry about that. I've got it linked into this to check my blood oxygen saturation constantly, my heart rate constantly, and if it sees any abnormalities from my normal base level, it will alert me and let me know. So if you are worried about your health, worried about the future of COVID, worried about your health risk of COVID, although I'm not a doctor, although I'm not a medical professional, this could be a good idea to keep an eye on your health, not only your physical amount of steps and exercise you're doing, but also your heart rate and blood oxygen saturation levels. Now, there is a couple of features that I didn't realise I would find useful in a smartwatch until I started wearing a smartwatch, and that is notifications. And this is really useful because I often have a small child on my lap, trying to comfort him as I eat my dinner, and my phone is always in my left pocket on the pocket that he sat on. So when I get a text message or a notification, it might be important. It might be my wife telling me that, you know, she's stuck outside and can't get in. It could be, when I look at it, my network operator telling me that my bill is overdue and needs to be paid, in which case I can leave my phone firmly in my pocket and not get it out. But those notifications are really useful. It could be anything, even from a phone call, from someone ringing you. It could be a really important call from your mum or your dad, or it could just be Martin Lee ringing you to tell you he's got an idea for a great video for Fully Charged, which if you haven't seen, make sure you see that video that we did there. There is so many uses I didn't think about having a smartwatch, like these notifications, that I'm starting to discover as I wear it. And annoyingly, I'm finding out that I've been missing out by not having a smartwatch. This watch is a really, really, really good. And now I'm a sci-fi fan, so I've also customized the screen with Star Trek. I've got a Star Trek watch face, and you can have pretty much any watch face you want. You can either buy them direct from the mobile store or from the watch store, or there's an app called Facer that I use that can give you thousands and thousands and thousands of watch faces. So you'll never ever get bored at staying at the same watch face every day. You could have a new watch face every single day. Now, I said at the start of the video I'd make this review as honest and straightforward as I could, and I will honestly tell you that I am definitely going to go on eBay tonight and not sell this watch at all, because I'm going to keep it. It is really proven useful. I've actually found I enjoy wearing it. I find that if I forgot to put it on in the morning, I'm running back upstairs to grab it before I go to work. I do find that I actually feel, if I've not got it on, I'm missing a part of me. Now, I've never, ever felt like that about a watch before. And the watch price they have is really, really, really affordable. It's one of the cheapest smartwatches that I've seen for such high tech levels. It has, like I said, the blood oxygen saturation, the heartbeat sensor, all these extra features, and it's a real premium look. Now, the only negatives I can say about it is quite a big watch face. If you've got small wrists, my wife, for example, this watch would just dwarf her hand. It's just a very large watch. I haven't used it for sleeping at night to sort of monitor my sleep. Now, this might be because I'm not used to watches, but I do notice that the first couple of nights I was banging my sort of wrist and it was hurting me a little bit, and I did have the watch strap maybe a little bit too tight. Like I said, I don't wear watches every day. However, during the day, I definitely find that I do miss it if I've not got it on, and I definitely will be keeping it as my permanent smartwatch that I will be using every day. Now, if you are interested in getting this watch, exactly the same spec as this one that I'm using today, there is a link down to the manufacturer's website direct. There's also an Amazon referral link there. Check them both out. Thank you very, very much for watching this week's video, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.